So my life got pretty hectic after making this decision to leave my home country and to pursue digital nomad lifestyle at the age of 23. Hi there, my name is Sonia, and on this channel you can find videos on digital nomading, learning languages, and the creative industry. First and foremost, let's go through my starter pack. No strong passport. Kudos to all the lucky owners of heavily sanctioned passports out there. I don't complain, I just state the fact. No American or average Western European salary, so I don't qualify for almost all digital nomad visas out there in the world. No property, no cars, or any other highly valued material assets. No children, no pets, but at the same time, almost no one that I can rely on financially. So if I fail, I'd rather not. And also, I'm a highly anxious person, which comes both as an advantage and as a disadvantage. But we don't complain, we act. So let's get down to business. Speaking of business, did you know that sometimes starting a business in a foreign country can be more realistic than getting a digital nomad visa? Which is exactly my case because, as I mentioned, I do not qualify for almost all digital nomad visas that are out there in the world, just because I do not meet the minimum financial requirements for those visas. But when it comes to business, many countries actually do not care how much money your business makes as long as it makes some and does it in a legal way. And having a business in a country can usually be a legal reason for obtaining temporary residence permit, which is pretty much the same as a long-term visa in many cases. So in that situation, it only depends on whether you can afford a life in this country or not. But I guess you can agree with me that it is a very different strategy from the one where you have to meet a certain financial requirement before you are able to get to that country. Of course, a lot of this information and the details vary from country to country, but this video is not about the advice, but I'm just sharing my experience. By the way, even though in some cases I stayed in a country for as short as 2 weeks, I clearly see the difference between traveling as a tourist and being a digital nomad. And here are the main differences. First of all, I always take my work with me. I do not take any vacation days for my travels, except for the days when I have like an 8-hour long flight. I worked in any conditions that I had because the main goal was not to just chill. Sometimes it even felt like the goal was exactly the opposite. I need to point out that I'm definitely not an office type of person. I do not need specific conditions to be able to work. I wish I had them sometimes, but at the same time, I don't need them that much. So yeah, I don't say that it is better to work on a crowded bus without any stable internet connection, but I say that I don't need like a specific work setting to be able to perform the job. I don't have any particular cultural program or an itinerary that I have to follow. I just live. Work, then go for a walk after a long work day, sometimes go shopping to get my groceries. Sometimes during the weekends I can take a trip to the neighboring city or town. Sometimes because I have to do some paperwork and sometimes just to chill. But it's just a normal life, but in a new environment. And I think that's a more balanced outlook on digital nomad lifestyle. Because I've seen other people trying to get their schedule covered, but after a short period of time, they get so overwhelmed and so tired. And I see that it's a very different approach, and I don't want to do it that way. For me, digital nomading is about expanding your overview of the world, but not at the expense of your lost nerve cells, or just some mental disruption. Like, even going to a supermarket in a new country feels so different. Why would I load my brain with more than it can bear? And in order for it to be sustainable, I need to make it more balanced. Nothing fancy unless it's a special date, just like in any regular circumstances. I have to live way below my means just because I'm a highly anxious person, and once I spend $1 more than I expected, I have vivid images inside my head how I end up in the street and I have nothing to eat. Also, I noticed other people mentioned that they cured their shopaholicism in immigration just because the anxiety levels overpower the willingness to spend. Not that I recommend this for shopaholism treatment, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. I'll be a boring person and say that I genuinely loved each of those countries that I stayed in. Not because they were perfect or something, but because there is always something, some detail that you might like about the country, no matter where you are. For example, after 2 months of stay in Kazakhstan, I now have a decent playlist of music in Kazakh language. After just 2 weeks in Turkey, I have a list of food that I'd like to eat once again once I'm in Turkey. And after a year in Montenegro, I have hundreds of pictures of the beauty of the nature here. My heart is crying in happy tears here during spring, and spring seems to be the longest season in this country. It is so beautiful, I just can't even explain. And by the way, answering the logical question of why not stay in the country for longer if I love them so much? Well, that's the whole thing of the digital nomad lifestyle. You kind of have to move because that's the whole point. You experience the countries, the culture. It is even better if you can contribute somehow to the country and not only in the monetary way. But you don't stay unless you want to settle. And for now, I just don't. And I guess that should be enough of an answer here. Alright, so please let me know in the comments whether you'd ever consider a digital nomad lifestyle for yourself or whether you are already in the middle of this journey. And what things would you like to know about my nomad experience? As always, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos on this and other topics. And see ya!